David was good friends with Jonathan, the son of King Saul, but he and Saul had their tension. So when Saul died and David was about to take the throne, all of Saul's family fled the palace. In the rush, Jonathan's son Mephibosheth was dropped and crippled. He was then taken to the outskirts to a city named Lodabar, a far cry from what he might otherwise have experienced growing up in the palace. And there in Lodabar, he grew to be a man, a crippled man, no longer royalty of any kind, until one day when David remembered a promise that he'd made to Jonathan, a promise to take care of the members of Jonathan's family. Mephibosheth knew nothing of the promise between his dead dad and the current king. So when David sends for him, he bows low before the king, thinking that his life is coming to an end, and he says, "What do you want with a dog like me?" And that's when David hits him with this line. He says, "Don't be afraid. I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father Jonathan. I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will eat here with me at the king's table." David looked at Mephibosheth, who'd been living in misery below the poverty line with nothing to show for his life, and he said, "My guy, my man, move that bus." You know that show where the family gets the ridiculous house that they could never afford? David says, "Move that bus today. You're moving into my house to eat at my table, and not because of you, but because of the promise I made to your dad. When I see you, I see your dad." And God looks at you, and God looks at me, broken, imperfect, and living in our own Lodabars of life, and he says, "Move that bus. You're welcome in my house, and not because of anything you have done, but because of a promise I made long ago to sacrifice my son on your behalf. When I see you, I see my son. So move that bus. All I have is yours."